I'm Avery, welcome to my channel. Today I'm adding another video to my yoga series where I'm here in Tulum, Mexico at a beautiful Airbnb, and I want to do a very peaceful yoga routine with you. I want to be filled with relaxation and serenity after this workout, so join me, grab your yoga mat, and let's get started. Start in a neutral seated position and focus on a nice inhale and exhale, clearing your head of any negative thoughts and just setting some goals for today's class. And then we'll start by grabbing our head, gently pulling it to the side to stretch out your neck. And of course, do this on the other side as well for a nice even stretch. Continue stretching, repeating this one more time on each side, allowing yourself to release any tension you might have from your neck from the days before. And now we can start working on the upper back. I'll show you from this side, raising your arms upwards and reaching behind you, allowing your upper back to gently stretch. Feel yourself grow taller and elongate your spine, and now we can work on the lower back by pressing your knuckles into the ground, open up your chest, and look behind you. Each vertebrae will feel a slight bend in this position, and now we can start stretching our arms, reaching them side to side, giving them a nice pull, allowing your shoulders and triceps to stretch. Give your shoulders a little bit of a roll behind you, and now reach upwards. Look behind you as much as you can. Drop your neck a little bit, and let your chest open up. And repeat this one more time, pressing your knuckles into the ground, letting each vertebrae lightly bend. And now let's transition into puppy pose, keeping your hips upward, reaching in front of you, and slowly drop into child's pose. Rest here for a moment and continue working on your deep breathing. And when you're ready, we can lift up into cat-cow pose, having your hands and knees hips width apart, raising your head upwards, keeping your back nice and arched, and folding your back inwards, nice and up arch, looking down into the ground. Repeat this a few times to make sure each vertebrae is nicely stretched, allowing yourself to feel a few inches taller with each bend. Continue focusing on your breathing here. When you're ready, push up into downward dog, keeping your spine nice and straight. Bend your knees if you'd like. And when you straighten your knees, see how your spine is more flexible. Walk out a little bit more if you'd like for a nice deep stretch here. Continue bending and straightening to get the most out of this position. And when you're ready, slowly drop down into puppy pose, keeping your hips nicely lifted high and your arms straight ahead of you. And now we can return to standing, reaching back up into downward dog, walking your feet towards your hand, and laying here for a moment, hugging your head towards your knees, letting your spine extend. And slowly, slowly come up, making sure you don't get too much of a blood rush to your head. Now we're going to be working on the hips and legs. So sit on top of your ankles, having your knees open in butterfly position, and reach your arm over to the other side, letting the tops of your hips and waist fully stretch. Repeat this a few times, getting deeper and deeper. When you're ready, you can extend your leg, having it straight, reach your arm across to your foot, letting both now your hamstring and your waist stretch simultaneously. And transition into a lower lunge position, however you feel comfortable, either on your ankle or off to the side. And reach your arm up and around to grab your ankle. Sit here comfortably for a moment in our lower lunge crescent pose, focusing on your breathing. Release this position and deepen into your lower lunge, opening up your hips further, and rest your elbows down on the floor in front of you. Really try to stretch open your hips as much as you can while you're here. And when you're ready, you can push up into an upper lunge, nice and slow. Find your balance and then raise your arm into Warrior One pose, having your arms straight ahead, looking up to the sky, maintaining your balance in between both hips. Lower back down into your lunge, transferring your center back onto the other side, extending your other leg. So we can repeat this sequence, reaching to your foot, extending your waist, and stretching out your hamstring. Release and twist into a lower lunge position, resting either on your ankle or off to the side. Reach around, grabbing your foot into our crescent lunge position, finding your centered balance. Now we can release, pushing into our upper lunge, recentering, and reaching back up into Warrior One, arms nice and straight and strong, looking up to the sky, lightly extending your upper back. As you lower down slowly back into our lower lunge, let your hips open up further and reach down to the floor. Rest your elbows comfortably in front of you while you breathe for a moment and open up your hips. Now return to a neutral seated position, sitting your bum on your ankles. And let's return into the comfortable child's pose, resting back, extending your arms in front of you, focusing on your breathing and balancing out your spine. Slowly push your hips back into puppy pose, having your hips raised above with your arms still extended. Thread your arm underneath your body to lightly twist while keeping your hips elevated above you and allowing your shoulders to fully lengthen. Now repeat this on the other side, threading your arm through once again, keeping your arms nice and straight to stretch out your shoulders and waist. Recenter back into puppy pose, allowing your hips to raise, and we'll repeat this sequence one more time. Threading your arm below you, now wrapping the other behind your waist for an extra twist in your shoulders to open up your chest a little bit more. Repeat this on the other side, threading your arm through, wrapping the other behind your waist for a good twist. And return to center in puppy pose. Now lay down on your chest, using your hands to push your chest up to the sky in cobra pose, allowing your spine to be fully flexible, looking behind you as much as you can. Lay back down, pushing up again for an even deeper stretch in cobra pose. And if you'd like to test out your flexibility, you can return back onto your chest, pushing up a final time, trying to touch your head to your toes. And when you're ready, return back into child's pose to rest your spine. Focus on your deep inhale and exhale, breathing many times while you take some time to relax. Now, let's get back up again, and we're going to lay on our back this time. Bring your knees to your chest, holding them in for a nice deep hip stretch. Roll back and forth lightly to even out both sides. And now extend your legs ahead in front of you, keeping your knees nice and straight, flexing and pointing your toes. Bring only one leg forward, keeping it nice and straight, pulling it towards your chest. And switch sides to stretch out the other leg. Now, with keeping both legs straight, try to have a split if you can, having your leg behind your head as much as possible, and switching sides to test out your flexibility on both sides. Return to center, bringing both legs up straight in front of you. Lightly raise your upper body and let your arms go, having them straight ahead to try to see if you can keep your balance while you're here. Lightly breathe and release. Bring your knees back to your chest for another moment to relax. Extend again, open up into a side split, using your hands to pull your legs as wide as possible. Use your hands to grab both feet, holding them in happy baby pose with your ankles as close to behind your head as you can, and re-stretching into a nice side split, trying to touch your feet to the floor behind you. And back down into a neutral laying down position, finding a few moments to focus on your breathing. Now, as we near the end of today's yoga class, return to a cross-legged position, and if you can, put one foot on top of each thigh, crossing them to open up your hips a final time. Sit here for a few moments to focus on your deep inhale and exhale, and clear your mind of any negative thoughts. I have so many more adventures here in Tulum that I'd love for you to join me on, and many more yoga routines to check out as well. So make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can see more videos just like this.